Carr's paper provokes the thought process that IT doesn't matter. In the current business climate, by way of an opening, Carr states, as information technology's power and ubiquity have grown, its strategic importance has diminished. The first portion of this presentation, I will recognize some of the points in Carr's stand. While his position may be valid, I will present some compelling reasons why, in the business models I address, IT may still be a very valuable asset. Carr points out in the article, what makes a resource truly strategic is its scarcity. One can surely agree that IT in the world today is not scarce. In my own home, we have 5 computers for 4 people. Here we see the decreasing cost of technology over time. This slide further supports the comparison between the decreasing cost of technology and the increasing number of computers in homes over time. This information further correlates with the theory of Carr of democratization of the IT industry. It represents the destruction of the cost barriers that keep IT from proliferating. Another point made in the article and represented by this slide is the extreme overspending recognized by enterprise in the IT industry. The marketing of vendors in the IT industry focuses on convincing the companies to spend by elaborating on new features and enhanced programs that their product provides. Enterprise reacts to this marketing to avoid being behind the times and are constantly overspending on technology to keep up with the competition. A quote from the article by Larry Ellison reads, "Most companies spend too much and get very little in return." Carr asserts that on very rare occasion, companies are able to turn a technological advantage into a positioning advantage. He uses examples of several companies, one of which is Walmart, as being able to gain this type of advantage. They were able to gain a sustained competitive advantage as being one of very few to use the technology in their favor in a very specific and difficult to replicate fashion. The standard job description of MIS directors seen in this slide needs to be reassessed to gain the elusive competitive advantage. Carr points out the need for the thought processes of enterprise to shift if they are to keep up with the future IT trends while keeping the bottom line of their companies in the black. The new management strategies and focus needs to be changing this current mindset to be able to keep competitive without large unnecessary expenditures in the future. The premise I'm using to make the point that IT does matter is based on the small business model with few variances, and the need to implement IT strategies as they become available at lower costs to gain strategic and competitive advantages through the increased efficiencies. In Carr's first premise, I address the fact that IT doesn't matter because of the decreasing cost of technology leads to increased availability to the masses. This is exactly why it matters to small business. When the prices of technology decrease, this offers a less prohibitive option to institute, helping owners and managers analyze larger information and more accurate costs involved with the type of business they run. They're able to decrease the cost of the personnel or outside services they employ to do data analysis. An example of the efficiencies gained can be seen in the evolution in food service from the cash register of the 1900s to the elaborate POS systems of the current century that analyze costs and business flow, among other details that were before either estimated or hand tallied, taking much more time and labor to reach the same end information. The second point I broached with Carr's article was extreme overspending and waste of resources that occurs while large enterprises chase the new and evolving technology. While overspending is a detriment to big business, the economies of scale created with the decreasing cost of the technology truly creates a huge advantage to the small business. They are indeed a wonderful example of Carr's suggestion of wait and see and then buy. As a result of the initial unrealistic cost of the trendy technology investments, the small business owners often lack the capital to buy into new or more advanced systems immediately. They are instead relegated to wait until the economies of scale in production make the cost of the technology a sound investment, generating not only a healthier bottom line, but also a more efficient workplace. This approach, while mandated by prudent business sense, also helps in keeping their wasteful investments to a minimum. Next, we address the ability to produce, as a small business, a unique advantage, something that others are likely to either not be able to produce or utilize readily to create a distinct competitive advantage that has longevity and benefit. The best example I can use involves cost controls that are vital to the health of any small business. IT, for instance, in food cost control for a catering company can create a huge competitive advantage if the competition is not utilizing a system that will provide them with the most up-to-date information and controls. A local company that I am familiar with just recently went out of business. They positioned themselves in the market as a great value due to their fixed per-head cost for any menu. While the cost of salmon far outweighs the cost of chicken, they still charge the same low per-plate fee. This could lead one to surmise they either did not have the IT available to analyze the true cost per plate, leading to the loss per plate, or, in the interest of volume, they chose to ignore this. We read in a previous article that the bottom line is driven by either, in its simplest form, volume or uniqueness of a product. This is true of the food industry. In essence, you will make something inexpensive that has a perceived value, or you make something with such a unique perceived value that people will pay anything to get it. One example of this type of value-oriented business is the model here, the McDonald's versus Wolfgang Puck restaurants. Two completely different business models, one based on volume to keep its healthy bottom line, and one based on the quality level that creates a desire of consumers to purchase the product even though the pricing is much higher than average. Even thriving, healthy businesses such as these two, lacking the IT to analyze business costs and react in an immediate fashion to correct or adjust with any market fluctuations, can easily be left with poor bottom line results. The final point I chose to address why Carr felt IT doesn't matter, was the need for the current management model to change along with the evolution of the industry in order to be more successful. In small business, I think the inherent nature of entrepreneurism in the person establishing a business is vital to avoiding this pitfall. Most small business owners understand the need to establish a boutique type of item or service, drawing customers to their unique offering. The focus they have on succeeding for personal benefit will help them focus on the management of their business. Small business, if managed properly, are more able to quickly adapt to change, focus, and direction with the market or trends than large enterprise. They are not obligated to the chains of command in the structure of organizational operating processes inherent in large enterprise. As a small business, this can be a great competitive advantage when utilized and understood well. Thank you.